Welcome to Conflict Advocate number 2. The following video is a straight video about hatred and racism and some shit that is completely unacceptable. My name is James Williams Jr. My ethnicity is Cherokee Indian, black and white. Let's talk now. Alright, every now and again some shit happens in the news where you just gotta take a knee and stop and take a breath and catch your shit. Alright? You gotta get your shit together, you gotta catch your shit together, and you gotta take a deep breath and you got to say unacceptable. Unacceptable. Don't ask me to spell it because I can't. So as of late, about a day or so ago, some young man, 21 years old, decided that he wanted to drive through Atlanta and shoot up some Asian massage parlors. Now, I read the article, in the same article that I mentioned in the video before this one about Sharon Osbourne and Meghan Markle. I don't know why I want to keep calling her Marilyn Markle, but anyway. Sorry, Meghan. This man killed 8 Asian women. The article I read gave his name. I'm not going to give him that power. Gave his age, was like 21. And then it said that he had a sex addiction. Now, I touched on this on Instagram earlier today, where I outwardly admitted that I have a porn addiction. And that most of my porn that I watch is of Asian porn. And some of them have been in sex massage parlors and shit like that. And then I mentioned also on Instagram that I watch a lot of fucking Japanese animation, which often has sex in it. But I don't watch the Japanese animation that's just about sex. Alright? Now, Bible Black is cutting it, because Bible Black actually is a full-on story. School of the Dead is cutting it, because there are rough scenes. Ranma Saotome is cutting it, because there are some rough scenes, but there's no sex in Ranma. There's just exposure to female body parts. Mostly the top half. Alright? Just getting that out the way so you just know a little bit more about me and the shit that I watch. But never once in my life have I thought, I love Asian porn, I'm going to go out, I'm going to shoot the shit out of a bunch of Asian women. And then this thing is saying that they're not deciding if they want to mark it as a hate crime. Pump the brakes. This is the part where I piss you off. This is the part where people who don't want to be on my channel can up and leave now. You can stop watching this video from this point, because I'm about to say some shit that's going to piss you off, and you're going to hate me for the rest of your natural life, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. As a martial artist, people hate me. I don't care. As a human being, people have hated me because I am multicultural. I don't care. But what I'm about to say will offend probably everybody who's a Trump supporter. Alright? Because this uprise on people attacking Asians didn't happen until COVID-19. It didn't happen until our former president started going around calling this shit the Chinese virus, Kung Flu, the Asian virus. And right after that, our conglomerate clusterfuck of attacks have been happening to Asian people from east to west. And up until Olivia Munn said something, nothing was getting done. Nothing was getting done. I got a fuck ton of Asian friends, dog. I got a fuck ton of them. Alright? Some were in movies with me. And granted, I did fail them. As an actor, I failed them. I'm still working though, y'all. I ain't gave up yet. I'm still working. Not just for y'all, but for me. Because I don't quit. I have a crush. She's Chinese. I worry about her all the time. I got a lot of friends that are Asian that I worry about all the time. And I've been worrying about them since the words Kung Flu, Chinese virus, Asian virus came out of this man's mouth. There have been multiple attacks of people getting sprayed with Lysol and Febreze on buses and on trains, and people attacking and burning old Asian women, and Olivia Munn's friend getting pushed 90 fucking feet by a gigantic ass white fella. And white people aren't the only ones on the hook. There are black people attacking Asians as well, as the old black guy was attacking the old white dude over some fucking cans. While 20 black people sit there and watched that shit and did nothing. Fucking nothing. And I know that I'm going to get a lot of things on this video where people are going to say, well, James, you're pro-Asian. No, I'm pro-fucking life, motherfuckers. So let me break it down to you really fucking quickly. My name is James Williams Jr. My ethnicity is Cherokee Indian, black and white. And yes, Native Americans are biologically Asian, so I got a lot of shit staked in this. And in case you didn't catch it the first time when I said I got a lot of Asian friends that I have to worry about because of racist ass people. Not just whites, but blacks too. Attacking people because they are afraid that they're going to get this virus that came from Wuhan, China. Wuhan, China is not the population of Asians in America that have been attacked by people who are racist, by people who went straight butt fucking crazy the second that our former president started calling it the Chinese virus or Kung Flu or whatever the hell the other shit that he was. And then I had some Asians that are in support of this man. That's just because you haven't run into a racist motherfucker yet, where you're Asians for Trump and shit. Well, some of these people that are getting beat up could be your friends, could be your family. And they could be getting beat up by blacks and whites. And you're gonna support this fucking douchebag full of dick tips that don't like Native Americans, who are also biologically Asian, by the way. Which is why I got a stake in this. Take a picture of that Navajo code talker. Take him out of his Navajo gear and put him in Chinese regalia, and he'll still look like an Asian man. Joan Chen played a Native American, and Joan Chen ain't even American. She's fucking Chinese. And though I love her to death, because she's one of my celebrity crushes, she's got nothing on my real crush, but this shit don't need to happen. And for everybody who wants to say I'm pro-Asian, well, today, I'm pro-Cherokee, so I'll be pro-Asian. When he talked to the code talkers, and he brought up Elizabeth Warren being Pocahontas, who is Powhatan and a hero. And if he would have started calling her Sacagawea, who was also Native American and a hero, because Lewis and Clark ass would have never survived. Cutting through the wilderness, going through Apache land, or Cheyenne land, or Seminole land. Without Sacagawea, there would have never been a goddamn gold rush. So take that shit in mind. Without the Chinese, without John Henry, without the Native Americans, there would not have been a railroad or a Pony Express. But history don't teach you that shit in school. They may teach you a little bit about slavery, a little bit about indentured service. They may show you a little bit about the gold rush, but they rarely talk about Pocahontas like they're supposed to. Where she decided to marry John Rolfe and change her fucking name to Rebecca, where her and her children never came home. Wayne Newton was fighting to get her remains back, but his war wasn't just with the British government, it was also with her descendants. Her descendants and the British government was like, hell no, Rebecca's staying here. But they took away her Native American identity and they named her Rebecca. Not John Smith's wife, John Rolfe. Rebecca Roth was Pocahontas. Understand where I'm going with that. Pocahontas, biologically a Native American, biologically an Asian, because the Asians, Native Americans, came from Asia. You can trace Native American origins all the way back to Mongolia. And some even further down south towards China. So yeah. And FYI, the Chinese discovered America first. But history doesn't let you know that either. A sailor got off course. Understand that. So when you start getting mad about the shit that I'm saying, think about the shit that we've witnessed over the last 4 years. Think about how the young girl on the bus was getting picked on. Excuse me. It might have been a train station. It happened in New York. She was on a bus or a train, and some dude said something to her and threw his drink at her. And whoever was watching with the camera watched her flying dragon kick the shit out of the motherfucker. And then he tried to do something to her, but he missed, and he ran. And unfortunately, he was a black man. Fast forward a little bit ago, not to the Elizabeth Munn thing, but prior to that, in the midst of last year, a elderly Asian woman was attacked by 4 black girls on the fucking bus. You go further ahead of that, or behind that, where an Asian woman was set the fuck on fire by unknown assailants, but she was set on fire. So, moving on up, Coming on to the present day about this young 21-year-old jackass that decides he's going to drive through Atlanta and shoot up spas, massage parlors, whatever the fuck you want to call them. And had they not caught him, he was heading to Florida to continue his spree. And you want to get mad at me for being pro-Asian today? He would have shot up black people, would have been just as bad. Probably been worse. It would have made all the Life Matter movements move forward into this shit. So all you Life Matter movement motherfuckers better get on this. Because I strongly believe that the human life matters. I don't give a damn if you're black. I don't give a damn if you're white. I don't give a damn if you're Asian. All lives matter. Prove it. All you Life Matter motherfuckers, unite. Become one coalition of how much life actually fucking matters. And go together, united, to stop shit like this from happening. As I said at the beginning, I got a lot of Asian friends. As I said on my Instagram, I got a lot of Asian friends. I follow a lot of Asians. Not just because they're Asians, but because they're cool. Not just because they're cool, because they're human and they do shit that I find cool. Olivia Munn made a statement when this dude pushed her friend's mom 90 fucking feet. The dude's mom was smaller than me. Maybe 110 pounds, if that. And this dude was like 6'2". And just like shoved her. Shit got done about that. But they're saying that this guy was not doing this shit out of a hate crime. That he had a mental glitch. That he has a sexual addiction. Well, every man that I know on earth that is straight got a sexual addiction. But not every man that I know on earth personally is going around raping women. I don't know any rapists that I know of. When I go to bed, I watch a little bit of TV. I may watch porn tomorrow. I may watch porn tonight. But I'm not going to get up and go shoot up a massage parlor because I have a sex addiction. Now you want to tell me what the fuck does having a sex addiction have to do with you going somewhere and killing a bunch of Asian women? You didn't swing by Joe's bar and shoot up a bunch of white women and white men. You didn't shoot up by Larry Blueberry. I had to make it rhyme so to sound black. And shoot up a bunch of black people. You know, you ain't do that. But you went to a few massage parlors in Atlanta. And don't tell me there ain't no black clubs in Atlanta. Don't tell me there ain't no white clubs in Atlanta. Because they are black and white clubs in Atlanta. You know how I know? Let me show you something. This right here is my cat card. You know where I got it? Fort Benning, motherfucking Georgia. Where they shaved my goddamn head. So I look like a little Oompa Loompa. I look like the Avatar, right? Look, I'm Aang. All jokes aside. I didn't fully serve the way I wanted to serve. But I can tell you on our 36-hour break, Drill Sergeant White and Drill Sergeant Stoltz said, you guys can go anywhere you want in Georgia. You have a day and a half and you need to be back here. Not you, Williams. You're not going anywhere. So I couldn't go anywhere. But what they told all of us that day was really simple. You can't go to nightclubs. You can't go to strip clubs. You can't go to any clubs because before we got enlisted, 6 soldiers were killed in an Atlanta nightclub. So all soldiers were banned from nightclubs. On duty, off duty, NCOs, you were not going to no nightclubs. You can go to any restaurant you want. You can drink till your heart explode. You can buy a prostitute if you want. But you could not go to no fucking nightclub. So you're going to tell me, because I'm going to go rub one off, because I got a sex addiction, I got a porn addiction, I'm going to go rub one off. I'm going to go to every single massage parlor in Atlanta and start shooting up Asian women. Because I got a sex addiction. I got a porn addiction, so I'm going to go to every black place and every white place. And I'm just going to shoot a nut on everybody in that motherfucker. No, because that's not how sex addiction works. For sex addiction, I'm going to sit at home and I'm going to stroke that some bitch at home. In my room. In the dark. By myself. The only thing I'm going to be doing is beating my dick like it owes me money. I'm not going to go around killing people. I'm not going to go around raping people because I'm getting my thrill via the internet and porn. Now, when I was 21, we didn't really have the internet like talking about it. We had those little sex card things where you can call and be talking to somebody who you assume might be an Asian person or assume might be a white person or a black person, and it's probably all the same person, some lady just laying in her drawers talking sexy to you for $8.95 a minute. Starts off free, but after every minute, it goes up. So if you're on there for 8 minutes, you just spent about $100 for 8 damn minutes for you to rub one off. So I guess because I have a sex addiction, I need to go find this big broad and put a bullet in her ass because I have a sex addiction. Let's stop bullshitting, people. Stop bullshitting. The motherfucker specifically said if they hadn't pulled him over that he was going down to Florida to shoot up more spas. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Write it down in the comments. Are there any black massage parlors? I'm sure there might be some black people working at Asian massage parlors. There might be some white people working at Asian massage parlors. And before you pump your brakes, let me pump your brakes right now. I know that there's a restaurant on West Main Street. There's a Japanese restaurant that has white people who work for them. And they fucking speak Mandarin. So don't tell me that there can't be black people and white people working in Asian massage parlors. Alright? But this guy targeted Asian women. So don't tell me this shit's not a hate crime. That shit's a fucking hate crime. You don't want to admit it, that's fine, but that shit's a fucking hate crime. And the rise of hate on Asians happened when our ex-president, Donald Trump, started with that COVID bullshit. The Kung Flu. The Chinese virus. And then let's not forget how he treated the Chinese reporter. Let's not forget how he treated her at a live press conference when he goes, "Why don't you go ask China?" So yeah, this young 21-year-old man who went on a killing spree in Atlanta, Georgia, if you guys don't charge him with a hate crime, but you guys say that it is a mental glitch, that would be basically the same bullshit that you pulled on Muhammad and Malvo, the goddamn DC sniper. See, I understand the kid being scared and having to shoot people because he's afraid he's going to get shot. I get that. I've been bullied before. But the main guy, the main sniper, mental glitch my ass. This motherfucker wanted to shoot people. Period. The terrorist attack in 9/11. These motherfuckers wanted to make a statement. They wanted to kill innocent people. Asians are not the virus. But they became the virus when the ex-president decided to say shit like that. And then, I'm sorry if I piss off any Asians that were for Trump. I'm sorry. But my problems with Trump don't involve you. My problems with Trump goes all the way back to 1993 when he wouldn't let Native Americans have casinos. Because in 1993, at least 2 of my grandmothers were still alive who are of Cherokee descent. My grandma Bay, because I was in high school in 1993. I was also being bullied by a young black girl and a young white boy in 1993. And before that, I was being bullied by a basketball team or a football team or whatever team they were at CHS High School. And my black teacher did nothing. So let's take it back to my problem in 1993 with the casinos and Trump hollering, "They don't look like Indians to me." Alright? That's when my first began problems with Trump. And then the Central Park 5. Was that like 3 to 4 years later? With that. And then becoming the president, Pocahontas. 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 How many times did he call Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas? And then when the Code Talkers came. Navajo men of prestigious honor who served for your ass and my ass and everyone else who's breathing free air today. Back in World War II. For him to call Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas in front of them, that was a double slap in the face. Because he had already slapped the damn Sioux before he got in there. I have no ties with Standing Rock. The pipeline, the Keystone Pipeline will not come through. First damn thing Obama does, I'm going to protect the Keystone Pipeline and make sure that it does not go through Siouxland. It's my last act as president. The Native Americans, known as the Lakota Sioux Indians, their land will be protected. Therefore, I declare, click. First day in office, I, Donald J. Trump, will allow the Keystone Pipeline to go through. Native Americans were in an uproar. A young white lady from the goddamn movie Insurgent was the first one to put this shit on notice. Not too many Native American actors showed up, or at least not on camera, to show their support for a fellow tribe, because the one thing my great-grandmother Ada told me, what affects one tribe of Native Americans will affect all tribes of Native Americans, and then it will grow into non-Native American tribes at some point, at some time. And yes, that is a quote from Dr. Martin Luther King, reworded with my grandmother's words. But my grandmother was right. Because, see, while the Native Americans were fighting each other, and the Europeans was coming onto the land, they weren't ready until it was too late. And instead of uniting and joining forces, they didn't. And here you have America today. Because the Seminole, the Cherokee, the Iroquois, the Creek, the Kiowa, the Manhattan Island, none of those Native Americans was coordinating with each other to stop this shit from happening. And you have America today. Then you have Geronimo, badass warrior. Swanto, not so badass of a warrior, but still a warrior none the same. You have Pocahontas, you have Sitting Bull, you have all these guys fighting to keep this land in Native hands. But superior firepower won the day. Fuck you, Marco Polo. Anyway, I know you guys want to know why I said that. Well, see, Marco Polo stole gunpowder from China. So you could kind of say, in effect, the Chinese won America for the Europeans because they found a way to mass produce gunpowder in Europe. And these things called musket balls, which evolved into bullets. Now you have America. Understand that. How are we going to make America work? Oh, we're going to go down to Africa. We're going to talk to the big guys in Africa, and they're going to sell out the little tribes. And if you don't want to come with us, you have options. Option 1, we kill you. Option 2, you get on this boat. If you survive, you work. Option 2, when you get on this boat, B, if you die, or if 10 people are chained to you and they die, guess what? You die too, because we're throwing your ass off the boat. Now you want to think about this shit that I'm saying? You want to judge me for the shit that I'm saying? Well, why don't you do some research? Let me know if you think I'm wrong. But I know for a fucking fact when you go back and you play the Code Talker thing, you're going to hear him say, we have someone who's been around just as long as you. We call her Pocahontas. Go back and watch that. Now, the oldest of the Navajo, he don't crack a smile. But the one that's closest to our ex-president, he does crack a smile. He almost bust out laughing, literally. But in his defense, a little old, got a little age on him. So might have caught that shit kind of funny. But in all honesty, I didn't find that shit funny at all. The first time he called her Pocahontas, I got pissed. I got a grandmother who's still alive, and that is her actual nickname. Her real name is Marie, but she's been Pocahontas all of her fucking life. Understand, she is Native American. Understand that shit's not cool when you call somebody a Native American name. I was called Chief from the age of 16 to 19 while I was working at Kegler's by some white dude. He wasn't being racist, but he was being fucking annoying. There's a difference between being annoying and being racist, because you can make a racist statement and not be racist. Or you can be racist. Or you can just fucking be annoying. Like this guy. He was being annoying. The more I asked him not to call me Chief, the more he called me Chief. Because I simply asked him to not do it. Because my name tag was right there. James Williams Jr. That name tag, right there. Hey Chief. How's it going, Chief? What's up, Chief? 3 years of that shit. every weekend. I dreaded going to work because I knew I was going to stumble into this white dude at some point, at some time on my job. And I'm going to hear it. Hey, Chief. Now, does that give me a right to go off and get my bow and arrow and just start shooting all the white people? No, it doesn't. That would make me a racist. It would also be a hate crime because I'm going around shooting all white people because one white person called me Chief. Would it make me a racist if I go around and start killing all white people because they call me the N-word? Yes, it would. It would also be a hate crime because I'm shooting up white people who had nothing to do with slavery. But one or two of their friends may have slipped out of their tongue and called me the N-word. So now I think I got the right to go and shoot them with bow and arrows. No. No. There's a lot of shit going on with this case. And this guy's probably going to go to jail for life. But he's probably not going to get treated unfairly. Let me throw it back to something that has nothing to do with Asians at all. In case you guys missed when Heath Ledger was the Joker and that young man decided to go into the movie theater and start shooting the fuck out of everybody. He was a mental case too. And then we talked about this in class today about the guy who was killing people in Nevada at the hotel with the machine guns from both windows. But I guess that wasn't a hate crime because he was white. He was shooting up mostly white people. White people can hate white people too. Don't think that they can't. And if this video has offended any of you on any level, I'm sorry. The truth is not kind. It is nice to be kind. It is kinder to be nice. That's from The Rock. I ain't here for that. You guys know me on this channel. You've been here long enough to know that I give you 99.9. Tonight I gave you 99.9 plus 1. It's not the whole 1,000. But it's close. But when you think about that shit, this young man, 21, just threw his life away because he has a sex addiction. He wasn't a bad-looking dude, so I don't believe that shit. I'm not a gay man, but he wasn't a bad-looking dude. He looked better than me. So he probably could pull some women at 21. I was lucky if I could pull anybody at 21 because I look a lot thinner than I do now. You know, I was cut, but I won't cut. And girls just really didn't look at me. You know, a lot of girls probably just dated me out of mercy. Alright? Before I end this video, I want to apologize to each and everybody watching this video because I know I have offended you. And I'm sorry. I also want to say that if you choose to leave this channel, I will not be angry with you. I will not be mad and I won't hunt you down. And FYI, no matter what comment I get, you guys should know me by now, I'm not going to respond with a negative. I'm not. Because you have that right to say whatever the fuck you want. Because me and everybody that was in my Bravo, everybody that was in my Delta, we put these on. We put these uniforms on. We carry these cards. Everyone in my family who has served before me and everyone who will serve after me and everyone who is serving right now are serving so that you can have that right to write fuck you in that goddamn corner, James. Fuck you, James. You're full of shit. I expect to see a lot of it in this video alone because most people don't even watch my videos. But if you are watching it, I thank you for watching it and I apologize for pissing you off. But if I'm pissing you off, then I've done my fucking job. I've done my job because I've opened your eyes and I opened your ears and hopefully, I have opened your heart to the reality that is. Because if you don't check yourself and check everything around you, you're going to get ran over. Now, let me make one more apology to the Asians for Trump. Alright? I'm going to apologize to you. I'm going to apologize to the Native Americans that are for Trump. You know who you are. That one Native American. I know who you are. I'm not going to mention your name. I still follow your ass on Instagram. But you are wrong. Oh, he just hasn't affected your tribe yet. That's how that is? Yeah. This is to that one Native American who supports Trump that I follow. You know, he hasn't reached your tribe yet. That's how that works for you. But the Lakota Sioux know. A lot of other natives know. The natives from 1993 know. So, you're wrong. Now, for you Asians for Trump that are not Native American, you're wrong too. And I'm sorry if I'm offending you. And I'm sorry if you're following him because it makes your wallet fat. But are you thinking about the Asians that are suffering because of the words, the Kung Flu virus, or the Chinese virus, or the Wuhan disaster, and all the other shit? Are you thinking of them when someone's chasing them with Lysol? Are you thinking of them when old ladies are getting set on fire? Are you thinking of them when old ladies are getting jumped at the bus because they're Asian? Well, guess what? Some of these people that are attacked aren't even fucking Chinese. You just haven't run across the one person who may say, this guy looks Chinese. We're going to fuck him up. I regret that I have offended anybody in here today. I regret that shit. But I ain't taking it back. Because here's that thing. I got a lot of Asian friends. And from the second that this bullshit started, I have been worried about them. No, I don't call them. No, I don't Facebook them. Out of fear that they may not be able to answer me back. Because they may be hurt. They may be shot. They may be dead. Because some asshole decided that just because something came from one country, that every Asian that they see is Chinese. They forgot that Asia has a conglomerate of culture, a conglomerate of countries. Tibet is not the same as China, even though China rules Tibet. Laos is not the same as China or Vietnam, even though they're at the bottom. Indonesia and Malaysia are not the same as China, as Indonesia and Thailand. No, Taiwan. Most of the people that come there immigrated from China. Japan's a culture all by itself. Korea's a culture all by itself. North and South Korea. But a lot of people who come out of Malaysia or Singapore or Indonesia, a lot of their ancestors came from China. If not China, they migrated from another Asian country. The people from Tahiti, the people from Samoa, they're all Asian. Even the Fiji Islands are Asian. They also have some blacks over there. But for you Asians that are for Trump, you just haven't ran into the right racist motherfucker that may think that you might be Chinese. You could be as dark as me but have Asian features and be like, oh, this guy's Hawaiian. A lot of Hawaiians have Chinese ancestry. A lot of Hawaiians have Japanese ancestry. A lot of Hawaiians have Polynesian ancestry. Which, by the way, they're still Asian. A lot of Hawaiians have Native American ancestry. And again, by the way, they're still Asian. So if you were supporting this asshole that was going around talking about the Kung Flu and the Chinese virus, shame on you. And I've angered you because I talked about this man and he's made your wallet fat. Well, let me anger you some more, because when Obama was in office, I lost my job. And it didn't make my wallet be affected. When Bush was in office, I did not have 2 jobs. When Clinton was in office, I had 2 jobs. And when he was in the office, I can tell you, for his terms, I didn't have any money problems. Which is why I voted for him. When Gore was about to be elected, I voted for Gore because I was knowing that he was going to do the same thing that Bill Clinton did, only he probably would just spice it up and make it a little better. But Gore didn't win. Always gonna be mad that Gore didn't win. Until I die, I'm gonna be mad that Gore didn't win. I don't know where Al Gore is right now, but I loved Al Gore when everybody else came through. And I voted for Hillary twice, and she didn't win. But I would never vote for a racist willingly. So hopefully Biden's going to prove me wrong. Because I only voted for Biden, not because I got mad respect for him and his family and he helped Obama out. No, I like Biden. He wasn't my choice. Elizabeth Warren was my choice. Because that would have been a big fat slap in the face for everybody. For Pocahontas. Even if she only has 4% to be in charge of a country that some of my ancestors helped build before it was taken from them. My second choice was Andrew Yang, because it would have been a slap in the face to have a Chinese president. And then, my third choice, and I'm sorry, I like Biden, don't get me wrong, I voted for him. My third choice was PDP. I can't pronounce his last name properly. But it would have been a slap in the face for an openly gay president to rock this country. Now, I'm not gay, but that shit would have been history making. All three of the people that I was voting for would have been history making. I'm happy with Biden, don't get me wrong. Not because of the stimulus check that I'm supposed to be getting, because Biden was real. Our former president was a motherfucking racist, and all of you who voted for him and all of you supported him, and especially if you were Asian and you were walking around with this, my ears are plugged, my eyes are blind. The only thing you can do is kiss my behind, because my mouth will speak for somebody who don't speak for me. But all of my Chinese friends are getting their asses beat, G. So when you think about this shit, and you may be hating my rhyme, but I ain't telling you no lie, because my shit's right on time. Until the Chinese virus or the Kung Flu was mentioned, Asians was on a smooth track with no true problems other than in Asia where there was some African shit going wrong. And I will give Donald Trump his credit right now. I will give him his credit. Alright, because he went over there and he got the little university student out of Korea too little too late. But he got those 3 black guys whose daddy is rich out of China. Who, if your daddy's rich, why the fuck are you stealing shit? And I will say he got some woman who went to jail, out of jail, for doing drugs. Alright? So let me close out. But before I do, let me explain something to you. Every speeding ticket I got, I paid for it. With money. I openly paid for it. And if you didn't pay for it, if you didn't, you contested it in court. There's only one ticket that I never paid for, and that was because of a racist incident where the judge used me as a tool to get this cop off the street. But prior to that, every time I shifted the gear and went over speed limit, that shit's on me. Every fucking time. So my whole policy on that is if you're out there and you're doing shit that you deserve to go to jail for, that's your fault. Now, if you get mistakenly identified for a serial rapist, because that's happened to me too, that's not my fault. But I'm also never going to see 6 feet tall at 47. If I hit a miracle growth spurt tonight, I still probably wouldn't hit 6 feet tall. Alright? But I'm not a serial rapist. I got hemmed up for that shit. So that I understand. But see, when you're out here and you're doing bad shit, and you're doing drugs and all this other shit, that's your fault. You know you shouldn't be doing it, but you're doing it. So you can't get mad at doing time for doing a crime. You going around brandishing guns and you going around shooting people, you deserve to go to fuck to jail. You see a gun? My guns are right here, 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 and right down there, in case you missed it. Those are my guns. I fight. I don't need no stupid fucking gun. That's for cowards and cops and army men. I'm no longer in the army. I don't need no damn gun. You want to sell that shit? Let's go. You don't want to take that L though, right? I hope I made somebody learn something tonight. If I have offended you, I am sorry. Feel free to leave me a FU in the comments. But if you've learned something, still feel free to leave me a FU in the comments. Because you might not like what you learned. But I hope that I've opened your eyes to something. Thanks for watching. It's Comfort Habit number 2. Be seeing you.